got a couple goals. Brian Rust got one. Actually, Cullen got one off a Brian Rust rebound. Zach Astor-Reese got one with Brian Rust crashing the net. They were on their way, and in whatever hockey god hates them this year, they of course takes away Cullen now, right? And so you've got these third and fourth lines for the Penguins, which are just in disarray. Derek Grant isn't the answer. Riley Sheahan, full disclosure, I've not been an admirer of his game since they acquired him. I like him better as a fourth line left wing than I do as a center. I don't think he drives pressure. I don't think he drives the rush. I don't think he moves the puck fast enough to be a center in the Penguins system. They disagree with me. Generally speaking, I usually defer to them, but on this one, I'm going to stick to my guns and say that Shane's not good enough for them in that position. So they need somebody. Blueger has potential, and I guess we'll leave it at that.
Let's say it's February. Do we look back on this period, late November, and say, man, remember when they sucked? Or do we say, oh my God, it's been terrible all these months. This is a lost season. Do you think they're going to figure it out?
Again, we'll go back to Mike Sullivan's Tuesday press conference when he said, I still think we can skate. If the Penguins don't come to terms with their identity, they've got old man strength. they really have the potential. They're almost as fast as a lot of teams. They can skate well, and they've got beef. They have what they need. But if they try to be 2016 Penguins, or create offense off the rush like they did in 2017 when they were essentially a counterattack team because they were just being swallowed up in their own zone, but then breaking out and had a lights-out shooting percentage. If they think they can duplicate either of those performances, they're screwed. And in February, we'll be saying, hey, Jack Hughes is a potential. But if they have that real conversation with themselves and they play that simple game like they did for 30 minutes on Monday night, if they do that, good gosh almighty, we'll be laughing at ourselves in February. We'll be laughing at our November selves, right?
Yeah.
Because they have most pieces. They could use a right-handed defenseman. And I think they might be able to use another bottom six piece, someone a bit more legitimate than a few of the guys they're trotting out. Other than that, they have everything. It's just a matter of getting it all to come together.
I think they'll figure it out. I think they're too smart and there's too much talent there. Just, if we're having these conversations, sure as hell they are too. And they see these things too. So I think at some point you stop putting square pegs in the round holes and you make it work just for the sake of just winning some damn games. So I think they're going to figure it out. And, if not, Crosby might just take the whole team on his back and say, fine, I'll do it all myself.
I will leave the leaf to the fans and to you, and I'll just tell you what's going on. How's that? We'll make a deal.
There you go. Speaking of which, Pittsburgh hockey now, everybody needs to check out your sites. You make people like me seem smart. I could read your stuff and
Wait a second. You're telling me that I'm dumb?
No, I'm saying you're I'm saying the site is so good that there's so much information on there that dummies like me can actually be passable as knowledgeable.
I appreciate that very much. I know I'll never be the number one reporter in town, or just because we do go very in depth and we tackle nuance and we do all of those things, and I guess that will never be for the masses, but I hope for hockey fans who want a little bit more information, I hope they find that with our site, and I appreciate you saying that very much. It's humbling in a way because that's really what I am going for.
Well, it's one of those things where you could be like you could be all things to all people, and what does it say? Jack of all trades, master of none, or something like that. Or you could be really good at one thing, and that's what you guys are. You're really good at hockey and the Penguins and analyzing it and talking about it. So that's, to me, that's awesome. So and you guys do a great job with it. So,
well, thank you so much.
Dan, thank you so much. I could talk to you for hours, and I always appreciate that you volunteered to be my very first guest on the podcast, and I always appreciate that. Because I didn't think anybody actually wanted to talk to me, so you stepping up really gave me a big boost of confidence.
Well, in fairness, I was drunk at the time, so we're good.
All right, man. Hey, I'll talk to you sometime.
All right, have fun.
Have a good one. Bye. Okay, the Steelers will be facing the Broncos, and with me to talk about the Broncos is Rebecca Jones. She is at Bronco Becca on Twitter. She's a contributor to Fantasy Football Statistics. Rebecca, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on.
So the Broncos 3-6. What happened? How did they get here?
Poor coaching, I feel like, is a lot to blame. We have a talented roster. We have, hopefully, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Bradley Chubb. He's across from Von Miller. Our defense is still pretty good, but just some more decision-making when it comes to when to kick field goals, when not to kick field goals, when to call timeouts. It's just frustrating to watch sometimes.
It's crazy. I'm looking at an article that says, how many games will Joseph cost the Broncos? Like, that's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad when basically they're saying, or are they going to fire him now or later? So
they've already said later, not during the bye week. I was hoping for during the bye, but I'm hearing whispers that John Harbaugh might be on the market after this season, depending on how the Ravens finish. So that would be a good get if we could get John Harbaugh to come to the Broncos. So that's my wish list now. John Harbaugh.
I hate the Ravens, but they're really good.
I know.
So that would be, yeah, and he's kind of, yeah, he's probably not going to make it. So yeah, that would be a great get for any team. So the big acquisition in the offseason was Case Keenum.
Yeah.
How has he been doing?
He's actually been playing better the past couple weeks. Kind of rocky start. I know he had an interception in every game up until the Texans game. But then at the Texans game, he didn't throw an interception, so that's good. And I also know that his strength is on play action. And the Broncos run play action like one of the least in the NFL. So hopefully they have adjusted to that after the bye, and they'll start running play action more and play more to Case's strengths.
It sounds like the people are really angry at Vance Joseph, but they're not really happy with the offensive coordinator either.
Yeah, so we actually got rid of our offensive coordinator, didn't we? No, it's still Musgrave. Wait,
I think it's still
Musgrave.
Musgrave.
Right? Yeah, it is still Musgrave. But yeah, hopefully he, like I said, can adjust coming out of the bye week and then be better. I know the Texans game we played a little bit better, and that's where that poor coaching came in, where we should have punted, but instead we kicked like a 60-yard field goal and missed. So we didn't get the 3 points, and then the Texans went and kicked a field goal before the half or before halftime. So then they got 3 points. So a 6-point swing and like 2 minutes of gameplay, not even 2 minutes. It's just, you should have punted it instead of missing the field goal. And then at the end of the game, they were really conservative, and instead of trying to get more yardage to make a shorter field goal, they kind of settled, well, a 51-yard field goal is fine, and he missed. So a little bit closer, not getting blown out as much like what was happening last year or the beginning of this year. So hopefully more trending toward that direction.
Yeah. So in the draft, they take Bradley Chubb, and you pair him with Von Miller, who is doing great. How's that draft worked out?
You know what? I think we had a great draft this year. John Elway gets ragged on a lot for not having a good draft, but this year we got Chubb, who I was super stoked to get. I didn't think he was going to fall to us at 5. I thought the Browns were going to take him at 4. So as soon as they called Denzel Ward, I was like, oh my God, we're getting Chubb. Like, my friends and I are all texting, like, yes, Chubb is ours. He's perfect to pair across from Von Miller. And DeMarcus Ware is a defensive line coach, like a part-time defensive line coach for the Broncos this year. So I love that Chubb is learning not just from Von Miller, but from DeMarcus Ware also. And then we have a couple other good rookies. Our linebacker, Josie Jewell from Iowa. He's looking great this year. He's supposed to be starting, I think, next week. So that's really good to see him stepping up. He is really good. He's not like really fast or athletic. He just has really good instincts. He's always getting to the ball. I know we've got a young corner, Isaac Yiadom. He's been decent. We haven't used him a lot, but he looks good. And of course, Royce Freeman, Phillip Lindsay, rookie running back duo. They're both awesome. So yeah, I think we had a pretty great draft this year.
I was hoping the Steelers would have taken Josie Jewell.
He's good.
Yeah, that's a sore point. Another sore point is for my fantasy team, I thought Royce Freeman would be the running back to get. No.
Nope. Yeah. I think we need to use him more because he is really good. And like, I want the Broncos to use Freeman and Lindsay how the Saints used Mark Ingram and Kamara last year, where you just put both on the field and make defenses defend both of them. I would like to see more of that because they're both dynamic playmakers. So I want to see a defense try to account for both guys at the same time instead of just one or the other.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a great problem to have. You're
yep.
one good running back or another.
Yeah.
So how 3-6, do you think they're out of it for making the playoffs, or do you think they can make a run?
Oh, man, it's really hard because there's a lot of good teams in the AFC. It's better than it has been in past years. Even our division, we are better than the Raiders, so it's not a totally season, but we have the Chiefs who are white hot and the Chargers who are super good this year too. And I always rag on them for being inconsistent and unable to finish games, but they've looked good this year. So I think I don't see it happening, to be honest, and that pains me to say because I'm such a homer. But I don't think that we can beat the Chiefs and the Chargers. The Chargers would have to seriously implode, and the Broncos would have to get a lot better. But we play each other this weekend, so maybe it can start there.
Yeah, I agree about the Chargers. They every year it seems like they just do something to not be quite right, or just. But this year they're looking really good. And then, the Chiefs when the Chiefs play the Steelers, they basically just scored whenever they wanted to. Yep. It was I actually went to that game, and it was embarrassing.
Wow.
I think at one point Mahomes, he did like a handstand and he walked into the end zone and nobody touched him. I think that's how he used it.
Cartwheels.
Yeah, cartwheels into the end zone. And
I
still,
remember that.
Yeah, it was embarrassing. It was a low point for the Steelers. So yeah, we'll see.
Yep, the Chiefs are the real deal this year. They're pretty scary, and I mean Mahomes it's not his rookie year, but his first year starting, so he could be there for the next decade, and that, as a Broncos fan, is terrifying to think about. He
is amazing. He's probably going to be.
Can we talk about that? He puts ketchup on steak. That's disgusting. I'm not okay.
And
with
mac
that.
And cheese.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know. I can't get down with the like